my name is Amelia Gudzuk, and for my project, I like to focus on how power, privilege, and intersectionality impacts families. I would like to specifically focus on generational wealth and racial inequality with topics like redlining. So first, I just wanted to go ahead and define what poverty is. And poverty is the lack of ability to financially provide for basic needs. This includes rental payments, food, and products to maintain one's hygiene. However, intergenerational poverty is defined by a family system being unable to break a cycle of poverty. Mothers raise their children in poverty, and those children raise their kids in poverty, and so on and so forth. One key contributing factor to generational poverty is redlining. According to Monica Purvitt Black, since 1930, redlining has contributed to the creation of modern poverty. In 1970s, gentrification attempts spread high-density poverty from big cities to suburban and rural areas. So what is redlining exactly? Redlining is the practice of denying people access to credit because of where they live, even if they are personally qualified for loans. Historically, mortgage lenders once widely redlined core urban neighborhoods and Black populated neighborhoods in particular. The United States created a new wave of poverty when in 1930, the Federal Home Administration divided cities into two categories, which was done by labeling minority-dominant regions unfit or unsafe for mortgages. So why is redlining important? Redlining prevented many minorities and low-income white people from having any equity in the housing market. For those who don't already know, home ownership has been thought to be one of the best ways to build personal and intergenerational wealth by economists. Even though redlining is illegal today, it has still had tremendous consequences for many minority groups since they are not able to pass on any real estate. In fact, in 2020, 1 in 4 Black Americans and 1 in 6 Hispanic/Latinx Americans still lived in high poverty neighborhoods. So why is this information important in regards to poverty and generational wealth? Wealth is crucial for a household's economic security, economic opportunities, and protection against economic crises. The large and persistent Black-white gap in wealth follows from centuries of policies that have systemically disadvantaged Black Americans' ability to build, maintain, and pass on wealth. Why is this information relevant, you may ask? Because since minorities lack financial security to begin with, it is much harder for those in poverty to escape the cycle of poverty. Those with generational wealth are able to provide many advantages for their families. This includes access to a better education and an overall better opportunity because of their nepotism. So what is nepotism? When you think of nepotism, a few names may come to your mind. People like the Kardashian family, Jaden Smith, Hailey Bieber, and maybe even Maya Hawke may pop in your head. However, nepotism goes beyond just celebrities passing on fame to their children. Nepotism in the workplace means favoring family and friends over others for opportunities. Similarly, nepotism in school many times means admission to elite schools over other candidates. So how does nepotism contribute to poverty? Nepotism contributes to poverty because it gives unfair opportunity to people because of their connections or resources. This often takes away from people who are more qualified and overall may be better candidates. If we cannot focus on giving those who are disadvantaged some level of equality within work or school environments, how can we really expect minorities to break the cycle of generational poverty? America gives opportunities to those who already have them and makes it much harder for those stuck in a cycle of poverty to be successful. So with that being said, does this mean that those who grew up in generational poverty will always be stuck in poverty? No, but it makes it much harder for those in minority groups to be able to achieve the same opportunities that many white people are essentially born into. So how can we encourage empathy with those who are stuck in a cycle of poverty? I think the best way as a white person to be empathetic towards minority groups who experience generational poverty and racism is to recognize the privilege we have. For example, I know that even though my parents are refugees from Ukraine, they still had an easier time assimilating to American culture because they are white. This is even in spite of my parents being two very hardworking people. I know They were probably offered more opportunities than those who may have came here from places like Mexico, for example. As a white person, I also believe we need to give people of color more opportunities to share their experiences instead of trying to be a voice for them. So having a white savior complex, in my opinion, can be very dangerous and is ultimately oppressive to people of color in a more subtle way. It can be hard to explain racism if you've never experienced it. So I guess what I wonder from my classmates in this class is, or whoever is watching this, is what do you think minority groups need more of from white people? Thank you for tuning into my video. I enjoyed this course with all of you, and I hope you guys all have a good rest of your night.